the Saturdays on Sunday this week. I think that's barbecue chicken for them. They'll split with the Giants. I think they have the Saints. They have a pretty solid. And then they got the Bears. So I think they get more. All
right. So let's talk about the Eagles for a minute here, because there's a couple of different ways to look at it. I do not want to have the conversation again about whether they're better off for having lost a game.
Please,
that's ridiculous.
Let it go, Dan. Please. Let it go, Dan.
Let it go. We hate that conversation on this side of the table, but it's also irrelevant now. They have lost. So the question is, was that just a bad week? Or, they had the turnovers and everything, a lot of uncharacteristic stuff. Or was a fatal flaw exposed? You can run the ball down this team's throat, and very few teams win playoff games when the ball is getting run down their throat. Which is it, Bart?
Man, I hate to be on the fence, but I'm on the fence because I think some things uncharacteristic of their football team as far as turning the football over. Some would say the penalty on Graham shouldn't have been called, but those are things that were self-inflicted wounds. Those are things that you hope to correct and you can correct easily. But the run defense is something that is a little harder to stop. And this team has played from in front for the majority of the season. Now they understand that teams are going to attack them in a way. Let's see if they can make necessary adjustments.
What do you think, Nico? Is it? We did the game yesterday called Bad Week or Bad Sign. Which was Monday night for the Eagles? Was that a bad week or was that a bad sign?
No, I think it was a bad week because you still have some leadership there. You got Cox up front. That's a big leader that's been there a long time. So they'll get this running game situated. They'll get it right. I think the team, the roster as a whole, we know is very talented. So again, I think it was just a bad week. They're done with this undefeated talk, and now they can move on, correct the things that they need to correct, and move on
Michael
to
Myers,
the next
quit bringing it back, Dan.
They will not let it go.
Don't do it.
How about it? You've got this game this week.
Yeah.
You have their game this week, right? Against our old buddy Saturday and everything else. What sorts of things, as you start talking to the people in Philly, what sorts of things are you hearing from them about that game?
About the coming
game? About the game they lost.
Oh, the game they lost, right. Washington dominates time of possession. Washington had a plan and stuck to it, and the plan was to run it. Even when it's not working, keep running it because it eventually will. So if you're the Eagles, you identify this. They went out and made a transaction. They signed Linval Joseph, defensive tackle, used to be with the Giants and the Chargers, right? He's a run-stuffing guy, right? They don't have Jordan Davis, the rookie first-rounder, back yet. He's a big part of their run defense. He's not out for the year, but he's not back for this game either.
Yeah.
So they know they need to shore that up. There's no question about it. But they still feel like, look, they turned the ball over 3 times against Washington. That's not who they are. They haven't done that all year. So if you ask them the same question, right? What is it, bad week or bad sign?
Yes.
I think they would probably say bad week too, because they don't expect to be a team that turns it over 3 times.
Another truth, Dan. We lie to ourselves all the
time. But there's going to be no lying here. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I am raising the stakes. It's been a while since we've done the Bet Your Palatial Estate game. But we're betting it right now. That big house you live in that you've worked all your lives to save for, you got to bet that. On one team this year to win the NFC. I asked everyone here to make a pick. Who is going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? I see 2 Eagles on the screen. Bartholomew's like the 49ers. Let me start over here. You're still riding Fly, Eagles, Fly.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles. I think they're going to be the team to come out of the NFC. And Bart, maybe you don't like your house, huh?
I love my house.
You like San Francisco.
Falling on the budget, baby.
You were betting your house on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, listen.
Like
Out of all the quarterbacks up there, who's taking their team to the Super Bowl? I've seen this before. I don't have to imagine it. Right. Jimmy G has taken his team there before, and he arguably has better weapons on the offensive side than he's ever had. I'll take Christian McCaffrey over Emmanuel Sanders. I'll take Kittles and Deebo Samuels and Ayuk and Trent Williams, the best left tackle in all of football. And we know this team can muddy it up and be physical on the defensive side like none of those teams on that list. Philadelphia isn't as physical. They ain't nasty. They ain't nasty. You got to be nasty in the postseason.
When the big guy comes back. What about when the big
Jordan Davis
back? Yeah,
not afraid of that second light.
The 49ers, look, they were led by their defense to the Super Bowl, and they've been hurt, but everybody coming back.
Look, second half is 2 halves to a season, Dan.
Yes, I understand.
A lot of people are riding this 49er train.
But the first half counts when you talk about playoff playoff seeding. And right now, I'm not betting my house. If I had to bet the house, that's the game.
What about your roller?
I have to pick the team that's 8-1 over the team that's 5-4.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
But they're in a lot better position to get the bye, to have home games. That stuff
What did
matters.
San Francisco do last year when they went on the road? They're road warriors, baby.
I get it.
They beat your Dak Prescotts.
We're not talking about what could possibly happen. We're talking about what's most likely to happen.
They did beat Prescott last year. They beat Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs last year, and they were right there to beat Stafford last year. So I don't think that's a crazy pick. I picked the Cowboys because I'm obligated to get the Cowboys into every hour on this program, so I was delighted to do it. Okay, our next stop is Denver. Russell Wilson. What? The Wilson and the Broncos are 3-6. They face Derek Carr and the 2-7 Raiders this year. Wilson has been awful. The Raiders have been worse. I want you to listen to Russell Wilson's coach, Nathaniel Hackett.
He's giving up, Gurney.
This is how he described this matchup. Listen.
Somebody's got to win this game. I mean, it's been a lot of one-point scores between, or not 1 point, but one-score games between both of the clubs. You know, it speaks to, you know, they're a really good football team. I know everybody looks at records, but in the NFL, I believe that everybody's really, really good. And somebody's going to have to make that final play to be able to make it that, you know, who comes out on top.
I told you we lied to ourselves, Dan.
Wait a minute. So as we do change my mind,
There's a lot to unpack there.
I'll give you my change my mind in a second. What did he just say?
First of all, it's not true. I mean, they could tie. Like that could happen. That's a potential outcome.
Well, somebody's got to win this game. That's something that a fan says about a terrible game.
Attitude reflects leadership. That's the leadership in Denver right now.
It's not about the record, though. Like, you know, what are we looking at records?
People look at the record.
Every team's good, right? We're good.
Coaches put up those signs all over the facility, like inspirational slogans. Can you imagine a sign? Somebody's got to win this game.
That's exactly right. So why not us? He actually said, everybody's good. Coach, I got bad news for you. Your team's not. And neither is the one that you're playing this weekend. So here's my change my mind. I'm old enough to remember when we were sitting at this desk talking about the AFC West this year being the greatest division in football history. Well, the Raiders stink on ice. The Broncos are unwatchable. The Chargers are startlingly average. And as usual, the Chiefs are good. This is the most disappointing division in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the twilight zone because I had high hopes for that division, and they have disappointed us, and they have underperformed. I can't think of a division that has underperformed with expectations like this before. On the flip side, the NFC East has been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and so is the AFC East. Yeah, we can talk about pleasant surprises all we want. But Dan, you were here with me, right? They're going to be unbelievable. All four teams might make the playoffs. What happened to this division?
Broncos added Russell Wilson to what people thought was a, just add quarterback situation.
Right.
Turned out it was not that situation. The Raiders added Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. They built up on defense. They can't get to a quarterback, period. I believe they're last in the league in sacks. And the Chargers, as always seems to be the case, have had injury after injury after injury after injury, and that's held them back. By the way, they're 5-4. They're not out of it.
No, but they're very average.
But your point is,
they are a stunningly average team. They are certainly not a great team. The Chiefs look great because you know what
they are.
Because the quarterback is great and the coach is great. And what we might be looking at here more than anything is the significance of coaching. We bought into, Josh McDaniels, second time around, going to be better. How's that working out? Nathaniel Hackett, he's going to bring Aaron Rodgers with him. How's that working out? Brandon Staley, he's going to learn from. How's that working out? I think we are seeing coaching playing an enormous role in this as well. Ninko, go.
I know this segment has changed my mind, but I am not going to change your mind. I am very much so in agreement with what you're saying. This division at one point, I can't believe I'm saying this. I should lose my position here at ESPN. No. I said that the Raiders are going to win the division.
Yes, you did.
Because I thought that they were a loaded team. I thought they went out and they got the best receiver available. I thought they brought in Josh to be the offensive guru. I thought they had Carr motivated and ready to go. I thought they had the defense. I thought they had the pass rushers.
Yeah.
No, you didn't think any of those things.
I think
they did have all of those things. You were right about all of those things. So sometimes teams get worse, not because their players get worse, but because their plan gets worse, because their chemistry gets worse. They had the best chemistry in the entire NFL last year. They overcame the most what could possibly be more difficult to overcome than your coach having to resign in disgrace over racially insensitive emails? They bandy together around that and around this coach, Rich Bisaccia. And so what does the owner do? Get rid of that guy immediately and bring in one of Belichick's disciples. And it goes directly down the hill, and the quarterback is crying at the podium now.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think the most disappointing team in that division is the Broncos. We all thought that Deshaun Watson, we thought that Aaron Rodgers wanted to go there because everybody recognized how talented this roster is. A fist fight's about to break out. If Russell Wilson says, let's ride one more time, and I'm a defensive player, and we're first in scoring defense and last in scoring offense, like, you know how hard it is to hold teams to under 17 points? That is the goal. When we have the goals for our yearly goals, that's one of our goals. I'm telling you, let's ride going to be like, yeah.
It is a tough time. All right, as we continue.